Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammad Ramiz and you are watching Flutterflow. So today we are going to talk about a new topic which is known as dynamic query. Okay, so in the previous video which you have seen yesterday, which I have created based upon like the content based on abstract variables. In the abstract variables, if I go back to the abstract variable page, I'm talking about this page. Okay, not the abstract but the data type. I'm talking about the data type video which I have created. So this is abstract is the next topic which I create just after the dynamic query. So I'm gonna create a abstract topic. Okay, so in the last video we have created this page and the title of that video was data types. Okay, in the data types I have used dynamic query here. If I click here and show you there, so I have used dynamic query here. I have not told you in the previous video because I just need to cover this topic in this video. So now I'm here to cover this topic. Okay, so let's talk about dynamic query. Let me go to the new page which is dynamic query, and let's start working on it. So as you know that in the previous video we have created our data type which is named as products, and in the products we have various kind of fields, and within a field we have one field which is named as product colors. Okay, which is a list of colors. Okay, so we are gonna work on this specific field. So let's talk about why dynamic query use. Dynamic query is basically used that dynamic query is basically used if you want to do an iteration. If you comes to a coding background, so you can simply resemble this thing with the loops. If you want to iterate, if you want to show various kind of elements which is in a specific list, so you can use dynamic query. Okay, so if you are talking about database perspective, so let's suppose you are fetching the data from the database, maybe it's Firebase. So if you are fetching the data from the database which is Firebase, so in that case you can you can directly add a query here, backend query here, or you can create a query into the scaffold of the application, and then you can add a dynamic query here. Okay, so but now we don't have a backend attached and we don't know about backend, so we can simply work on the backend query. So you know that we have a list of colors. Okay, and I wanted to show some colors. Let's suppose let me create a container, and I'm gonna wrap this container with the row, and this row should be centered. Okay, and the item spacing should be 10. Okay, so yeah, and the top starting spacing would be 20 and end spacing would be 20. Yeah, so let's talk about this color. So I want that we have a abstract variable. We have created an abstract variable in the previous video. If you have not watched that video, so you can surely watch that video so that your concept related to data types and enums would be clear. Okay, so we have in the last video we have created a abstract variable which is my products, and in the products we have created a lot of data, and within the data we have also created product colors which is a list of colors. So always remember, if you want to show list of items, what I'm saying, if you want to show list of items into the front end, so you must need to add a backend query, or you must need to add a dynamic query here. Backend query and dynamic query works the same, but the main difference is that backend query work only for the database. If we are getting the data from the database, then it's work fine. And if you have any local variables, local list, or an abstract list, or a constant list, or any other list which you want to show into the front end, so you must need to use a backend dynamic query. So let's suppose we have this colors list and we want to show all of these colors into the front end. So what we need to do, we can simply click on our column. always remember, backend query only implements, not only backend, backend query only implements on the widget that takes multiple widgets, just like columns, list view, rows. Okay, so here you can see I just wrap this container into a column. So if I click on column, so you can see this option appears, which is named as dynamic query, generating children. So it's a dynamic query, you can see generate a dynamic children's. Okay, and if I click on containers, which containers only take one widget, so if I click on the container, so it will not show this button. Let's check. If I click there, so you can see it's removed. So backend query, or we can say dynamic children's, only attach with the widget that takes multiple variables. Okay, that's clear now. So now what we need to do, we need to generate a dynamic query based upon the list of color. We want to show list of colors in a horizontal way, or sorry, in a vertical way. So let's select the value, go to the app state, select my products, which we have created in the previous video, data structure field, then we have a product colors. You can see that other fields are not, we are not able to use any other field because all of these fields are mm, only these fields are not list. So dynamic children's only take list of items. Okay, so I just selected product colors. Forget about the create date, because create basically date time field is it's not able to the dynamic query does not able to parse the date time field. That's why it's usually appear here, because date time is not as well known or a common field, just like string integer. So if you add the date time and run it, so it throws an error. Okay, because the Flutterflow does not handle this thing. So you can simply use list items if you want to generate dynamic query. So let's pick this thing, product colors, and we can say that maybe it's any name. So maybe we can add color, we can name the variable color. We can also set maximum items. So for example, if in your list you have thousands of item and you only want to show 10 item, 20 item, 50 items, so you can set max limit, which is whatever, and if you leave it empty, so it means no limit. It will show all elements that is in your list. Which list? Product color list. Now when I click on save, so you can see that it asks me and say that this widget can now generate its children dynamically from the specific variable. Which variable? Product colors variable. Okay, this is a list of variable list, and simply edit the first child in the column and set how every child look like. Yeah, it's this is very simple. So what you need to do, you need to click on OK, and you can see it's dynamically generated the you can see multiple boxes, so it's dynamic query implemented. Okay, now how can I show different colors, the colors that I have in my products, product colors list? How can I show all of these colors there? So after adding dynamic query, this is a step 1. So after doing step 1, if you click on container and if you go to the color, change color, okay, fill color, we want to change the color. If I click on this icon, so you can see that colors item is there, and this is a dynamic children's icon. So if I go back, you can see this icon is same to the dynamic icon, and you can also see that I have set the variable name, which is color. So let's suppose I'm gonna say my color. I'm gonna change the name with my color and save it, so it will show my color now, and the symbol is same, dynamic children's, and it's saying my colors item. Okay, so now I need to click on it, and if you want to add any default color, so you can also add default color. If not, then it's totally fine. So default color is implemented where if you have not set any color, or your color is unset, then your default color would be implemented. So let's suppose I'm gonna set my default color to gray and confirm. You can see that dynamically it shows the color of every item, and it's done. Dynamic query is now totally in working. So if I go and hit run, it's running. And if simply if you want to validate or fix any specific amount number of childs, so you can simply add the number, maybe it's 2 3 4 or whatever you want. Okay, so yeah, that's how it's work. If I implement the dynamic query in the row, okay, it's also possible to add a dynamic query into the row, but if I put dynamic query into the row, so it will be replicating, or it will be generating the it will be generating list of widgets into the row. It would be horizontal, not in a vertical. But I want to show you in a vertical manner, because in the last video we have just seen a simple demo of this color pattern, and it's in row. So I just wanted to show you in a vertical manner, not in a horizontal manner, because in the last video we have seen a glimpse of this thing. Okay, so this is now the dynamic childrens are being generated. Let's wait for the test mode running, and then we can move to the to any other example. I'll be also sharing you one more example in the dynamic query. Okay, so the test mode is now running. Let's check it out. Okay, so uh, we missed to replace the initial page. So if you want to change your first page, or we can say the onboarding page, or an initial page, so you can simply go to the settings, and then you need to click on apps detail. Then there is an initial page. Right now my entry page is data type page, but I want to change it to dynamic query page. So if I change the dynamic query page and go back and hit run again, so you can see the dynamic query is working. So that's the same working condition in our case, so we will be able to see. So if I hit run, and in the meantime, okay, it's not an issue. Yeah, so let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, here you can see, so it's dynamically showing all the colors that we have. Okay, so that's how it's work. And in the dynamic query, you don't need to work on all the widgets. You need to simply work on single widget, because it will replicate the widget. So let's suppose if I have a container, and then I have a row, so it's not replicated. So the dynamic query has not replicated only a container. Query has replicated the senior most widget the dynamic query has. So let's suppose here you can see, if I click on this button, so it will show you a widget tree. So you can see there we have attached a dynamic query. This is an icon of dynamic query, and then we have a row. So row is the senior most widget. So the column or a dynamic query has replicated the row, and whatever we have inside the row, it will be replicated just like the same the container has replicated. So let's suppose if I want to add another widget, which is maybe which is um, which is a button, let's suppose. So you can see that I just added a button in a row, but it will be replicated in all all across the we can say the all across the column. Okay, so let's add an item padding, which is 20, and maybe we can set the button color to the color that we have here. Okay, all the colors we have here. So let's go to the fill color, and here we have a my colors, because we are in right now, we are still in our column. So the scope of this my colors exist only if you are in a column, or if you are in your dynamic children's. Okay, so if I click on it, and I don't need to set a default color, confirm, and if I reload the screen, so you will be able to see that all the buttons have their own colors, just like their sibling have. what what do you mean, what do I mean by sibling? So you can see this is a sibling of one widget. So row is basically a parent, and this is a sibling, and this is also a sibling. You can see that every button has its own color now. So that's how dynamic query works. Okay, so you can not only implement this thing on the colors. Let's suppose we want to do another thing. Let's suppose we want to create an app state variables. We want to what I want is that mm, Yeah, so let's see the data type and check what do we have. So let's suppose I want to show the images. Okay, so I'm gonna create list of images, and we can say images list. This is my list. If this is a list, so I can generate a dynamic query, and I'm gonna process this thing. So because I don't want the data should be removed if my cache would be cleared. So list of image list, then image path. So now create, and then if I click on it, and let's add an items. So maybe because these are the by default values the Flutterflow gives us, so maybe we have added 4 images, 5 images we have added. When you click on image, so this is a by default image. I'm going to use this image because let me copy and paste it and show you how it's look like. So it's look like this. So these are the like dummy images Flutterflow gives us, so we are going to use these images simply. So I'm going to change my backend query at this time. So now if I click on remove button, so it will shows an error. Keep an eye on this button. It can load and now throws two errors. I Yeah, it's two errors. One error is for this and one error is for this, because we are using dynamic children's value, but it's not there. My colors is now removed because we have removed the backend query. Okay, so let's simply delete this thing, and for the button we can simply remove the color. Yeah, we can simply delete the buttons as well. So we can also remove container because we want to add now image. So let's suppose we have an image and the size of the image is maybe it's 150 by not 150, maybe 170 by 150, 170 by 150. Yeah, it's fine. Now I'm gonna add more detailing uh, to make it more prominent. So let's do change some styling of image. So I'm gonna add border radius to 10. So because you can see it's a curved border, so every children which is generated by this children would take the same behavior, same properties and same styling. Okay, so this is done, everything is fine. Now I'm gonna add a backend query. Oh sorry, not a backend but a dynamic query. So let me search app state, and then I'm gonna say image path confirm, and here I'm gonna add images name, save. Okay, so it's generate dynamic query, and now I click on image, go down, and this is my path. So I'm gonna click here and add image setting, sorry, image items. Now confirm. So now when the loop, so dynamic children is basically just a loop. So when the loop iterate, when the children's iterate, so it will be passing the value based upon their specific current index values to every child. So it's showing the other thing that we have, the other image. So let's reload the screen. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, okay, so it's throwing an error. Why it's throwing an error? mm, okay, no worries. Okay, so we can add our own images. Maybe these images does not works. So let's suppose we can say stationary stationary images. Let's pick this image, copy image address, and now go back and paste it here. So this is a path, too long path. I think this path does not works for us. um, Maybe we can pick this image, copy image address, then control A, control V. Yeah, this png path will works for us. And if I go down, so let's pick this image, copy image address, then we need to paste there. Maybe this path also work. Let's just, yeah, it's this path works. And if I go down, so this path, copy image address. Now go back, paste it here. So maybe this path also works for us. Yeah, this path works. So search more products or images. So let's click on it, copy image address and paste it here, and we have still one more left. So we can, first of all, we can paste it to see. Yeah, it's opening fine. Yeah, pick this image, copy image address, paste it here, and yeah, it's also working. So yeah, paste it there, control V. Now after pasting this thing, we can simply go and reload the screen because we have an app state variables. So let's see the images values, what we get now. Yeah, we can see that. So you can see that the images are now arrived, and you can see we have an error, which is overflow error. So how can we resolve this kind of error? Because we are generating a dynamic query. So when you are generating a dynamic query, so keep in mind, go to your column widget or a parent widget and set as scrollable. Okay, if you do scrollable and if you reload the screen, so it will be simply, the error would be no more, so error would be gone. So what I need to do now, what I'm planning to do, I am planning to use this row as a dynamic children, so that you can also get to know how it's look like when you have an, here you can see it's scrolling now and the image is no crash. Okay, so quickly do what I need to do. Let me go backend query and remove it. So backend query gone. Now we have a list. So first of all, we need to reduce the size. Maybe the size should be 100 and 100, 100 by 100 maybe. Yeah, and here at this time I'm gonna put the dynamic query here, app state, image list, confirm, and now images, save. Yeah, dynamic children's. So here you can see the dynamic children's has been generated successfully, and the item, I'm gonna attach the item, image item which I have added. So there is a spacing as well, and remember, don't miss this thing. You can also add row to scrollable so that you will not be able to see any crash. Okay, now I'm gonna hit run. Let's see how it's look like now. Yeah, so here you can see the dynamic children has been successfully implemented into the row. So that's how dynamic children works. So thank you so much for watching, and in the upcoming video we will be covering the topic about app state variables, and then we will be covering the topic about constants, page state variables, and a lot more topics which I need to discuss with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.